And ladies and gentlemen, the echoing of that ageless magic word, gold, first rang through Deadwood Gulch in 1876, and with it came all the excitement and bustling activity of the Old West days of '76. To preserve for future generations the traditions of those hardy pioneers who played such a vivid part in the settlement of the area, Deadwood celebrates the colorful Days of '76 each year during the last week of July. This parade is formulated with the aid of numerous volunteers, including ranchers, who literally supply hundreds of horses. And we want to mention the American flag flying high on its pole at Mount Moriah above Deadwood is one of the most beautiful pictures we have. The flag has flown continuously at that spot overlooking the city since the Pearl Harbor attack. It reminds us again of the greatness of our country, and we breathe a little prayer that it may always float free and beautiful above us. The Days of '76 had its inception in 1922 when a group of local businessmen sponsoring a day of races, contests, music, dancing, and fireworks on July 4th. The following year, it was decided to make it an annual event coinciding with the deaths of Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane. In June of 1929, the Days of '76 Committee was incorporated. Since then, the committee and its auxiliary personnel contribute hundreds of hours to ensure its success. Ladies and gentlemen, the South Dakota Color Guard. Leading our parade today are Rapid City U.S. Army recruiters. We will be thanking our veterans throughout the day. Let's give a big round of applause for all who have and currently serve our country. Thank you, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the South Dakota State flag and the Days of '76 flag. Pat Roberts and Chris Roberts, holy cow. How's it going, gentlemen? Good to see you boys. Looking good. And our parade marshal, the Days of '76 selected the lovely and talented Ron and Don Burns as their 2021 parade marshals. Both are longtime executive committee members that retired from the committee in 2018. Ron and Don raised their family in the Deadwood Mead area, where Ron worked at Homestead Gold Mine, and Don currently works for the Deadwood Chamber. They have 5 children and 15 grandchildren. And how about the Days of '76 committee? Good looking bunch. Hey, including Travis Rogers, the parade chairman. Nice to see you, buddy. Hi, guys. Suzanne. What a good-looking bunch. And we want to mention the large, medium, small Rodeo of the Year flags. Days of '76 Rodeo has been recognized as a large Rodeo of the Year, medium Rodeo of the Year, small Rodeo of the Year, and has been nominated to the Rodeo Hall of Fame. Travis, Jimmy, and Shannon are each carrying the flags of the Days of '76 Rodeo.
No, not this year. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about them before the parade, but we want to mention the Rodeo Queens. No rodeo is complete without royalty. These fine young ambassadors will travel the rodeo circuit, making appearances all across the United States and Canada. When competing in rodeo pageantry, they are often judged on appearance, horsemanship, knowledge, and the history of the rodeo in which they represent. When visiting with one of these fine ladies, they can share the understanding of stock contractors, stock used in the rodeo, and who are leading our cowboys and cowgirls in rodeo competition. Thank you, Jeff Polk, for driving these ambassadors in the parade today. And ladies and gentlemen, let's give one more round of applause for our Rodeo Queens. Thanks for coming, you guys. And riding the chuck wagon representing Deadwood's Historic Preservation Commission is Mr. Kevin Kuchenbecker, our Historic Preservation Officer, and the iconic Jim Thorne of Pierce, South Dakota is pulling the chuck wagon today. Thanks, you guys. Good to see you, Kevin. And I've been talking about it a lot, and I'm going to say it once again. Representing the Tough Enough to Wear Pink is Andrea Nielsen. Andrea Nielsen of Rapid City was diagnosed a year ago in July with breast cancer. After chemo, surgery, radiation, and the 100% support of her husband, family, and friends, she has been considered to have a complete recovery. Andrea would like to recognize all victims of cancer and the strength and courage that they have and their family and friends that go through it. Good luck and God bless. And representing Tough Enough to Wear Pink and the Foundation for Health and the Fight to Battle Cancer is the 1952 Farmall Super C tractor owned and restored by Jim Finderly of Belfouche approximately 10 years ago. The pink is in honor of his mother who passed away from cancer, and he's very proud to have Chris Toshin, a cancer survivor, driving it for us today. That is our mayor, the distinguished David Ruth, right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thanks for everything, Dave. And we have a bunch of Native American dignitaries joining us today, including State Senator Red Dawn Foster and Representative Perry Poirier. And we want to thank Scott Porterfield from Belfouche, who is driving our dignitaries today. Joining us on a float, that is Chief Bald Eagle's family. Chief Bald Eagle was a beloved member of our parade for many years. He passed away in 2016 at the age of 97 and traveled the world representing the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. Chief Bald Eagle's spirit is being represented by his family members, Mikila, Wombly, Zola, and Jacob. The Louisiana Purchase was a land deal made between the United States and France in 1803. 828,000 square miles were purchased from France for just over $11 million. Representing the purchase float is Jonathan Burleson. Thanks, Jonathan. Oh, it's our 7th Cavalry. Under the direction of Mr. Terry Williamson, the 7th Cavalry Band and its musicians represent several communities throughout the Black Hills. Thanks, guys. And the American Congress of Rough Riders are represented today by Keith and Karen McNeese from the Rocket M Ranch in Round Mountain, Texas, representing General George Armstrong Custer. Walked every step of the way with the Gordon party. When her shoes were worn out, she wrapped her feet in gunny sacks. The Army expelled intruders in April of 1875, and Annie Talent, the first white woman in the Black Hills, came with her son and settled in what is now Rochford. Nadine Radke is portraying Annie and driving her team today. Then he snuck by, but it's our old prospector, portrayed by Dustin Nelson. Thanks, Dustin. And located at 1200 Pioneer Way, just past Upper Main Street, is the Broken Boot Gold Mine. Mine started in 1878, was purchased by Olaf Syme in 1889. The Broken Boot is owned by the Deadwood Chamber of Commerce and has been giving tours for over 60 years. Go visit the Broken Boot Gold Mine and strike it rich. Hey, it's our friends from the Saloon number 10. Everybody's heard of the Saloon number 10, ladies and gentlemen. Stop down, get a cold cocktail, and say hello to these fine men and women. And it's the Deadwood stage. Abbott and Downing of Concord, New Hampshire built this stage in 1847. In August of the same year, the first shipment of gold dust with an estimated value of $500,000 to $700,000 was transported out of Deadwood. The Deadwood stagecoach operated from 1876 to 1887, and driving the stage is Mr. Mike Bashan from Cody, Wyoming. Now remember that name, we got a lot of Bashan family teamsters coming up in the parade today. And making her way to the historic Franklin Hotel is Poker Alice. Kathy Gall from Rapid City is portraying Poker Alice. Alice Tubbs was born in England and later attended an exclusive girls' school in the southern United States. Arriving in Deadwood in 1876, Poker Alice was a gambler, a dealer in gambling houses, and later owned one in Sturgis. An expressionless face gave her the nickname Poker Alice, and she is buried in Sturgis. And it's one day after Bullock's arrival, it's Seth Bullock. One day after Bullock's arrival in Deadwood, Wild Bill Hickok was shot in the back of the head by Jack McCall. After that event, the demand for law enforcement in Deadwood grew, and Bullock's background made him a logical choice to become the town's very first sheriff. Portraying Deadwood's first sheriff, Seth Bullock and his wife Martha are Chad and Christy McCall. Then we want to talk about the Dray Wagon. There's going to be lots of wagons in this parade today, and the Dray Wagon is basically just a very sturdy wagon that was used to haul goods and usually is without sides. Rob Goodwin, 2019 Days of 76 Teamster of the Year, and his family from Kyle, South Dakota is pulling the wagon today. And we want to mention the first ranchers in South Dakota. Civilization continued to advance in Deadwood Gulch through the settlement of the Black Hills. And portraying the first ranchers on the chuck wagon is Tim Kersabi of Hermosa. Thanks for coming again this year, Tim. Appreciate it. Kyla Standard drives her team representing more of the first ranchers from the buggy. And we want to mention the chuck wagon. The invention of the American chuck wagon is credited to cattleman Charles Goodnight. In 1866, Charles needed a way to keep his drovers fed, and they trailed cattle from Texas to the north. A true product of necessity breeds creativity. Goodnight bolted a wood box to the back of an Army Studebaker wagon and added compartments to store utensils, beddings, food, and more. The rest, they say, is history. And Teamster Brian Reinhardt is driving the chuck wagon today. I want to say thank you to Julie Bashan and her husband Jim from Bison, South Dakota, pulling the small stage today. Thanks, guys. And the Concord stage, driven by Kenny Bashan and family. Thanks, guys. And of course, if you haven't figured it out, I'm no detective, but I'd say this is the jail wagon. Built by Dennis Bashan following the Concord stage. Is being driven by Dennis himself from Oklahoma. As you've noticed, the last three teams are from the Bashan family, and we're so glad to welcome them back. Big thank you, and let's give them a round of applause for coming up here and volunteering. And the spring wagon has a square box between 2 and 4 movable seat boards, and it is a general purpose wagon used for transportation of goods or passengers. Want to thank Dick Rogers and his quarter horse team from Wessington Springs, South Dakota.
Yeah, that's what's on it.
We want to mention the Fort Laramie stage that just passed the historic Franklin Hotel. Want to thank the entire Brooks family. It's been 40 years that they've been bringing that up here. I want to thank you guys for coming. In the mail wagon, rural mail delivery, similar to the one seen here today, could be found throughout the turn of the century. I want to thank Dave Lindblom from Hermosa, South Dakota for helping us out today. It's the first school and the Black Hills Pioneer. The first ward school in Deadwood was originally located in the area near present-day rodeo grounds. Minnie Carlson was Deadwood's first known primary school teacher back in 1877 with 27 students appending. Pulling the float today is our local third grade teacher, Mr. Tony Altoff. Thanks, Tony. And it's the bride and groom. Today's bride and groom are represented by Tulsa and Doug, driven by Teamsters Paul Vanderbilt from Ward, South Dakota, in the Conrad wedding. And the wedding party, following the bride and groom, is being driven today by Beth Cambridge of Midland, South Dakota. Big wedding. Got more wedding party. More members of the wedding party being pulled in a buggy driven by our favorite teamster, Johnny Holloway from Eagle Butte. Come on, everybody, let's give Johnny a round of applause. And we want to mention Mel and Rose Miller of Whitewood, who have been driving miniature horses for the past 12 years. Pound for pound, a miniature horse can pull as much as a standard size horse. We want to mention Dr. Sawbones and their nurse in the doctor's buggy. Representing Dr. Sawbones and his nurse are employees of Deadwood Eye Care, and the buggy is being driven by Sally Miller. And as a testament to Dr. Sawbones, we've got the black hearse right behind it. Of course, the doc's mistakes are followed by Teamster Ron Cooper driving the black hearse. And the white hearse driven by Janice and Reed Borden, past Teamsters of the Year, by the way. They raise registered quarter horses in Newell, South Dakota, and have been pulling the white hearse since 2002 with their quarter horses, Ralph and Willie. And Dr. Sawbones was apparently terrible because there's a second black hearse driven by Gerald Kessler of Fort Pierce, South Dakota. Ladies and gentlemen, the hook and ladder. The industry of today begins with Deadwood's Hook and Ladder. The Pioneer Hook and Ladder Company had been formed in June of 1877, and on its roster appeared the name of 64 Deadwood businessmen. Its equipment included 100 canvas buckets and the running gear of an old wagon fit up on an old hook and ladder truck. We want to thank Rick Cleveland of Piedmont for pulling the hook and ladder today. Thanks, Rick. And the boiler wagon, as seen here, weighs 13,000 pounds. And the Homestead Gold Mine Company refitted the wagon with I-beams to move mining machinery over the steep inclines around Deadwood and Lee. Dave Hayden from Baker, Montana, and his team is pulling this massive wagon. Thank you. And coming to us from White, South Dakota, Mike Olson and his team, Barney and Jamie, along with Jamie's foal, are pulling the beer wagon today. When Mike is not busy farming or rebuilding horse buggies and wagons, he teaches a trimming and shoeing course at SDSU. But it looks like a farm wagon. Actually, it's the ore wagon. Since gold was the predominant reason Deadwood exists today, the ore wagons were a vital part of transporting the valuable minerals throughout the Black Hills. Denny Post from Brookings is pulling the ore wagon today. Thanks, Denny. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a number of wagons in the parade today, including the lumber wagon. A large number of miners and settlers that rushed into the hills during the late 1800s created a great need for housing, stores, saloons, mountain timbers, railroad ties, and fuel. The lumber wagon was a very important part of the settlement of the Black Hills, and a team owned by Don Hutchinson is pulling the lumber wagon today. And we want to mention Badger Clark, South Dakota's first poet laureate, is portrayed today by David Bruce. Badger Clark graduated from Deadwood High School in 1902, and his most famous piece of prose was A Cowboy Prayer. Driving Badger Clark's budgie is teamster Don Hutchinson. Hey, it's our VFW, post 5969. Thanks for coming, you guys. Over the last 110 years, the number of timber out of the Black Hills National Forest has grown from 1 billion board feet to over 6 billion board feet. As you marvel in the beauty of the Black Hills, remember, it's a result of intelligent forest management that was started all those years ago. The float is being represented by Nyman Enterprises. Thanks, guys.
They've been gone and they've been really cross country. I went back to
And ladies and gentlemen, after the gold ran out, there was the arrival of tourists. The Black Hills began to focus on tourism and recreation, which is being represented today by vintage cars and vehicles. We want to say special thanks to everyone who took the time to bring their vehicles to Deadwood today. And it's the Cowboys of today. Just like the Cowboys of yesteryear, the Cowboys and Cowgirls of today are an integral part of the Days of 76 celebration. Without them, this celebration would not take place. And some of the folks participating today include Mr. Tawny and Gerald Rogers and their family. Is that Travis and Suzanne Rogers making another trip? My God, the egos on these board members. So Travis and Suzanne are just going to keep making paces, so let's give them a round of applause, shall we? Where's Donnie Rogers? Where is he? Hey, there's Donnie. How are you? Hey, Jersey. Nice to see you as well. Usually I make fun of Donnie's age, but he keeps getting younger, so I can't.
We have the old prospector with his mule, and this is...
Did Chubby Chipmunk go by?
Yesterday afternoon, they were starting to run out of the best came online. People buying the 7,014 t-shirts, they will continue.
The Deadwood Alive go-kart here. The reenactors perform shootouts on Main Street at 2, 4, and 6 daily, with a nightly performance at the Trial of Jack McCall at 8 p.m. right across the street. This family-friendly show utilizes members of the audience to participate in their performances, serving as extras in the trial. Want to mention Smokey Bear of the U.S. Forest Service, our local United States Forest Service office based out of Spearfish. And this is Smokey's 77th birthday. You're looking good, Smokey. Welcome to the days of 76 and happy birthday. And with fire season in full swing, we want to especially thank all of our firefighters and emergency personnel that are always on the scene, protecting the beautiful Black Hills. Let's give them all a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow tonight at 7 p.m. Be sure to catch free performances of the Native American dancers at Outlaw Square. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m., ladies and gentlemen.